Welcome everybody to our online program on addiction and recovery from the Sunshine Coast Health Centre up here in Powell River, BC. And we've been talking about one of the results we found in our recent research project. And the research project itself was actually to help us understand better how the therapy is influencing the clients here. But one of the, from the analysis, one of the key features, factors that came out was 100% of the participants in our research believed that addiction was a conscious choice. Okay? And this idea of being a conscious choice, of course, flies in the face of what we will typically see in the media or in the newspapers, that addiction is a brain disease, which sort of hijacks the brain, rendering the addict powerless over his addiction. And none of our participants believed that. They'd heard about it, but they just didn't believe it. And as we mentioned last time, when we first asked them, why did they use drugs? What was the appeal of intoxication? Their initial response was, oh, it got rid of some negative emotion I was feeling or negative mood. And this was pretty common. In fact, it was the most obvious negative thing they could think of is what they told us. But then we asked them another question, and this question was, well, did you ever use when you were happy? On your birthday, New Year's, at a party? Did you ever get intoxicated during those times? And of course, they said yes. And then we asked them, well, how do you make sense of that then? So you're not medicating this negative mood, you're not dealing with this mood that you want to make disappear. So how do you explain that? Now you're using when you're happy. And that one stumped them, because we kept talking about this for an hour or so. And they came up with all sorts of answers to try to explain this. One of them, a pretty common one, was, I don't know, maybe I have some underlying psychiatric problem. Another person said, well, maybe all that drug use has just screwed up all the chemicals in my brain. Or another one, I'm so used to my dopamine rush and my serotonin rush that maybe that explains it. But they threw out a lot of these ideas, but they didn't really believe them. They were just like desperate to find some answer, but they really couldn't understand it. So this is quite interesting. Still, they were adamant that drug use was a conscious choice. And one fellow even described it as, well, I associate intoxication with feeling good, and since I like to feel good, I just kept using. That's kind of a commonsensical one too. But anyway, again, this comment that they didn't believe that it was somehow related to powerlessness. And again, this is a very interesting finding, that 100% of the people didn't believe in the powerlessness, even though they'd been exposed to this idea that somehow, despite the fact they kept using, despite the fact that they couldn't figure out why they kept using, they still did it. So that's kind of an interesting thing. Anyway, we'll be back next time with another segment on our research project.